Is a solo cruise right for you? Also, what is it like doing it on the cheapest solo fare we could find at this time of the year, which is December of 2024? Let's answer those questions. Take a look back at the 5-day cruise that I am currently wrapping up. And I also want to show you how the embarkation process works, especially if you're going solo, because you have to work a little harder at it because you don't have any help. And also, let's head back to DFW, and that's the bittersweet part of it, because that's the part that I care about the most, because that means I get to go home to Lauren and the pups and be with them, and because I haven't seen them in almost a week now. So let's get this thing started.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway.
All right, we got on the ship here in Nassau, Bahamas just a little bit ago, and I'm kind of getting my things squared away, making sure I have anything I need ready to go, because this is our last night on the cruise. Tomorrow morning, we will start the de-embarkation process. We will head to the Miami International Airport, hop on a plane, and then by that evening, we will be back with Lauren and the pups. But if you're out having fun in your last day, for us, that was Nassau. We were hanging out with Donzel, got to eat some amazing local food, that kind of stuff. Make sure and check that video out. What you're going to find in the de-embarkation process, somewhere in your stateroom, and this is for Norwegian Cruise Lines. Again, we're on Norwegian Jade. You're going to see something like this, which is bittersweet and sad. Inside of it, what's going to have, and this might be different for you based on which cruise line. Again, this is Norwegian's process. So, naturally, they're trying to get you to buy another cruise by giving you more information on that cruise. We're booked already. Hang on, March, we're going. But what is going to happen is you're going to get a de-embarkation program. Now, this is going to go through everything as far as what's going to happen, the last kind of steps, if you have lost and found, how we're going to disembark, all of those things. Now, something that I'm noticing is I don't actually have my luggage tags. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that, but I may. I'm not sure. I got to figure that out. But as you can see, you actually have estimated call time, and then there's color of tags, and then if there's any sort of traveler agents, or if you're kind of on your own, that kind of stuff. So that's the goal. If I don't have one of these, I may just do self-assist. That's kind of a we'll see situation, because I have a reasonably large bag. So we'll go from there. Now, other things that are going to be in this is like where you can eat breakfast. So that's important, because they have limited menus and limited things. Because what's happening is, while they have the 2,300-ish guests on board now, by 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, they're going to be trying to get a new 2,300 guests on board. So they're trying to kind of, the areas where they know they're going to go first, they're using the other areas for us. So on embarkation day, if you're wondering why most of the restaurants are closed with the exception of one or two, it's because those are the restaurants that serve us breakfast. So it's going to be very specific. Like, they're going to have the breakfast buffet open, and then the Great Outdoors, which is that area off the back of the buffet, and then the Grand Pacific. That's it. That's all you got. So my Oshie hands is out, unfortunately. Also, it's going to be settling your account, any information, so you want to make sure you go through it, all that kind of stuff. I have questions on mine, because I don't think I should have been charged for a couple of things. And then an explanation of service charges, which essentially I found out now is the gratuity on Norwegian, and then any other information you may have. Now, things to think about when you're considering how you want to disembark is that, remember how the embarkation process went, make it half the time, and with people that have been on vacation are kind of now ready to get home. That's going to be the experience. So it's always a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more rushed, a little bit more tight quarters. So when you're doing that, keep that in mind. If you're choosing to self-assist, use a luggage tag, all of those types of things. So that's our general plan. I don't have a luggage tag yet to put on my bag, but we need to gather all our things, pack. I also need to go through all my camera gear, make sure I've got everything charged for the return trip, and put all that back together in my backpack. So we have a little extra stuff to do, and a few other things. Normally, if this was yesterday or any other day, what I would do is I'd come back, take a shower, which I'm still going to do, get cleaned up, just kind of freshen up a little bit from, being sweaty outside all day. And then I would get ready. I'd go to the solo lounge, meet up with the people I've been kind of hanging out with on the ship, see if anybody wanted to go to dinner. And then we may go to karaoke, do a few things. I'd come back. Tonight's going to be a little unique. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I haven't slept all that great on this cruise, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. But I need to get a little bit of work done. So I've neglected a few things, mainly because I have an internet. So I need to get work done, and I need to do some file organization stuff, and I want to get some good sleep. So I want to go to bed a little early. So the only thing I want to do is make sure I tell some people goodbye, just because, again, probably never going to see them again. So I'm going to probably go to the solo meetup, but that's it. I'm actually going to do room service for dinner. Now, I know I said that we would talk about my thoughts on solo travel and all that. We are going to do that here in a little bit. But first, I'm going to get cleaned up, kind of put myself a little bit together and kind of get a game plan. And then we'll go from there. All right, here comes the saddest portion of all. It's time to pack up. All right, well, good morning. We are back in Miami. And we are actually at the new cruise port. So I'm sure that has something to do with, ships that are back at sea today and all of that good stuff. So I'm still trying to get a little bit packed up here, like the backpack, just the last final things like toiletries, that kind of stuff into the big bag. Like I said before, I'm doing self-assist this morning, so I'm going to pull it off. Also, I had a little too much to eat last night for dinner, so I'm actually going to skip breakfast this morning. So it's currently 7:30 in the morning. They just started the de-embarkation process. I am not in a super big hurry to get off the ship. I have to be off by 9. So I'm just kind of taking my time. I still need to get a few things together and let my phone charge up a little bit. Once I'm done packing, let's chat a little bit about where I feel like Norwegian falls in the grand scheme of cruise lines. Okay, so where do I feel like Norwegian places inside the grand scheme of things for the cruise lines? So I do think it's in the same category as like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, I'd argue maybe MSC, and then some of those other ones, maybe Princess and Holland America. Those are just a touch bit probably more luxurious, but not quite all the way up. I think Celebrity, this is where you start to get that gray line. I will say most people will dump Disney Cruise Line into this mix, and I just think they're different. I actually think that the food is better on Disney than it is on Norwegian. I wasn't super impressed with the quality of the food around the ship for just the generic dining. I tried room service, both main dining rooms, the pool deck grill, and a bunch of other stuff. So, with that being said, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily the greatest. It did seem to get better as the night went on. I think if you get like a steak, you're going to be disappointed. But like I got like a chicken cordon bleu the last night in the main dining room. That was actually really good. So I think you have to stay away from certain things that have the potential of going bad poorly, especially if they sit long periods of time, and go with everything else. I am all the way packed up now, and it's just a matter of kind of putting a few last little bits and bobs into my bag, and then we're going to start the de-embarkation process. Before we do that, I do want to talk a little bit about the solo cruise and the least expensive cruise. I think cruising solo, if you're cruising solo, you should not be scared. Like, I'll be honest, I was pleasantly surprised by this. And I will say at the end of the day, do whatever you want to do if you're going to cruise solo. If you want to go to the solo meetups, go. And then they go to dinner, so if you want that sense of community, go do it. The first couple of days I did that. The last couple, I did not. So as you know, I did cheat a little bit on this cruise. When we went to Key West, I didn't do anything with the group. I went and hung out with the DeLacy family, and then in Key West, we went and hung out with our buddy Donzel. So that's what I'm talking about, is like I already kind of knew people in the port, so I think the one thing that I didn't do, I wish I had kind of done, is if I had done solo all the way through. In other words, not leaned on other relationships when I happened to be there, but I also want to see those people. I think if you booked a excursion through the cruise line, that's a great way of going with a group to go do something. It just costs money. So it depends there. You're kind of on the slider scale of, do I want to spend more money or do I want to be with people? And I could potentially make friends that way. So would I cruise solo again? I don't know. I did after, it's exciting the first day, but after the second day, I kind of obviously I missed Lauren the whole time, but it started to weigh on me a little bit more, her not being there. Now, for us, this was considered a work trip because we were here to film content. So, and as you can see by the amount of videos we pushed out, I was filming a lot. And so I didn't want to weigh her down with that. Plus, her coming would have almost doubled the price. Now we're closer to $1,000 before taxes and everything. So, you know, but for a cruise, I will say, with the value you get on this, I mean, I spent $420, got upgraded to a balcony stateroom. Now, that can't guarantee that happens. But with that, I do think that the Norwegian Jade, if you're looking at doing a cruise inexpensively, I think this is probably the best bang for your buck you're going to find, because it's that happy medium. There's Margaritaville at Sea, which I've heard horror stories about. I may still try and do that just for the fun of it, but this was a pleasant surprise. Yes, it's an older ship. Yes, it's smaller. I preferred that. I don't know why, I just kind of did. And so I love the ship. I think it was great. It has its quirks, but every ship is going to do that. So I would say yes for Norwegian. We're going to do them again in March. Maybe I've got something else planned. Donzel brought something up. We have a mutual friend that maybe something happens there. We'll see. But I think with that being said, I'm going to get a few things done, chat with Lauren real fast, get her game plan for the day, and then I'm going to start getting off this shit. And just like that, we are off the ship. So now we're going to find an Uber and head into the airport, and I don't know what after that. I guess sit and wait.
People on the street as I go by, and it doesn't even matter to me where I go. I just feel I need to take a ride. Got my coffee cup to go, and I'm gonna hit the road tonight. Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair.
All right, well, after a long travel day, we are back, at least in Dallas. I am back in Pearl, our F-350. I still have about a 45-minute drive to where we have the RV and Lauren and the pups. I'm super excited about that. So all in all, as far as the cruise, if I have any other thoughts on the cruise, overall, it was a lot of fun. And I say that in terms of I went on this ship to experience something that I would not normally do, and it ended up being so much more than I thought it was going to be. I thought, this being the cheapest cruise and being solo, that I was going to be on a ship that was in disarray, kind of trash. That was my assumption, and everything was going to be messed up. And being solo, I thought I'd struggle to meet somebody. I figured I would because I'm fairly outgoing, but I did think that I would struggle at some point to meet somebody to kind of hang out with on the ship. And literally none of those things were true. So all in all, you know, I had an absolute blast. If you're considering a solo trip, I would absolutely do it. If you're considering an inexpensive trip, there's one cruise line I'm considering, but it was not cheaper for a solo. Now, it's cheaper if two people go. It also isn't rated all that great. So I am considering doing that, but I might do that with somebody else or a friend just because I don't want to do literally a poorly rated cruise, which this one wasn't rated high, but it wasn't rated that low either. I don't want to do one of those cruises and not at least have someone to go through it with, whether it be Lauren, a friend, whoever. So anyway, all right, let's, I'm hungry. Lauren wants to order some dinner. She's been texting me, and I'd like to go ahead and get this show on the road. It is pouring here in Texas, so I'm going to put the camera down, and we'll see you back at the RV. It's 3 weeks later, and we're not in the RV. A lot of things have transpired, one of them being when we got off of the ship, when I got off of the ship. I was so excited to see Lauren and the dogs, I completely forgot to record a wrap-up. In addition to that, it's been like 3 weeks and a lot has transpired. So look for a update video coming very, very soon, if not next week. I want to say thank you for sticking around for this cruise series. It was a blast to bring it to you, and especially this video when I kind of give you all of my thoughts. I know it's a little more talking head, but until then, and until next week, we'll catch you next time. Bye, Mom.